Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining another episode of the Pulse Beat, sponsored by Cardio Miracle. I am so excited today to have a wonderful guest on today. She's kicked my butt in the gym, and I'm very excited to tell you about Natalie. Natalie, how are you doing today?
You know, I couldn't be better. I woke up on the right side of the earth. I have no complaints.
Okay. Right side of the earth. Okay. I love that. So, what state are you in this morning?
Today, I am in Florida. Normally, we're on the road quite a bit, much like yourself. But yeah, today I'm actually at home in Florida.
Oh, that's very cool. Okay. So, in Florida, so does it look like it's going to be a beautiful day, or is it kind of overcast?
Oh, you know, it's I don't know, it's about 80 degrees. The sky is blue. There are actually no artificial clouds in the sky today. We can just see blue sky, and the ocean waves are crashing right outside of my window. So it's beautiful.
You're so funny. I love it. So Natalie and I have been working together for a couple years, and we've had the chance to not only talk about Cardio Miracle, but talk about bodybuilding, diet, exercise. She actually helped me quite a bit in my journey to lose over 180 pounds, and a huge inspiration. And so I wanted to open up with that, Natalie. You're there with a sleeveless shirt on. I mean, people got to know you take care of yourself, but can you give us a little background on how you got started in bodybuilding, and how what your journey has been like?
Yeah, sure. So I have been into fitness my entire life, you know, from dance and ballet when I was a little girl to, you know, trying to keep up with my brother. So since my brother was there and would always, you know, kick my butt if I didn't stick up for myself, I was pretty rough and tumble as a child growing up. And we were always really interested in bodybuilding because back then, you know, in the 80s, bodybuilding competitions were shown on the TV, like ESPN and stuff used to actually show bodybuilding competitions. So I got into bodybuilding really early in life. I had these big dreams to be on stage and be one of those powerful women who were so beautiful and muscular. And I was like, I'm going to do that one of these days. And lo and behold, it took me a heck of a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I did finally get to stage and I actually made it to the pro level in bodybuilding and figure competitions. So I am a professional figure competitor and I live it every single day. It's like, I love being fit. I love being healthy. And I have some really great support around me to make sure that that happens, especially working with you guys.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. I love it. And so when you are in the heat of it, I want to talk about just a couple things, but most importantly, I want to talk about the importance of sleep and the importance of diet. And, a lot of people say that diet and exercise is like 80-20 or 80-20. And, but I have spoken to a couple of bodybuilders who say it has to be 100 to 100. It has to be 100%, 100%. And so what is your take on the whole diet, exercise, and sleep aspect as well?
They all go hand in hand. They all play a critical role. So it's not like you can just parse it out and say, you know what, as long as I get the workouts in, I can cheat on the meals and, you know, I can stay up late and, you know, go have a couple cocktails or hang out with the friends. And it's not going to affect my performance because we know it does impact our performance. So, yeah, your other friend was correct. You know, it takes 100%. You're all in if you're going to be taking something like this to that degree, to be competing on a professional level or even on a national level in, you know, competitive sports. You know, look at any high school child who has aspirations of going to the NFL or the NHL or anything like that. They're completely dedicated to honing their craft and being able to optimize their performance.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's so vitally important just to fuel your body and make sure that you have the energy to get out there and do it. And then with sleep, to recover, and you grow in your sleep, right? Like as your body is recovering.
Yeah.
It have you seen that if as you're on the road and getting that sleep in, how have you been able to optimize that?
Yeah, so I have I have a pretty standard routine that I don't deviate from. Every single morning, literally, I start my day with my cardio miracle. I get outside when I am going to consume my cardio. I prepare a glass. I get outside on my deck. I allow the sun to hit me. So first thing in the day, I'm getting that early morning light exposure because that helps you to, set your circadian rhythm, everything. The sun and the moon are so important to our health. So I get that early morning sunlight. I do some light stretches on my deck. I enjoy that glass of cardio. I go back into the house. I normally head out to the gym early. So I'll get my workout in. I come back home. I eat a solid meal. Like, I don't skimp on meals. I eat way more than people would probably imagine. If I am in prep mode, I'm normally eating about 6 times a day. And I'm not eating like a bird. I'm eating, 6 ounces of protein, some vegetables to go along with that, depending on where I'm at in my fitness journey. I might be taking in a small amount of carbohydrates, but normally not very many, if any at all. And, I just make sure I dedicate some time to myself. So the self-care is very important, but then also too, after rounding out the heavy lifting of the workload, I just make sure I prioritize my sleep. I turn off my electronic devices, before going to bed, so I can actually set my tone to be restful at night and get a good night's sleep. And I make sure every single night, no matter what's going on, no matter how hectic the day is, I always let my husband know how much I love him and how much I appreciate him. We never go to bed upset. And it just, again, it's the perfect way to close our night to make sure that the next day is a good day.
We love your husband. Love your husband, Greg. He's a good guy. So I know that he understands that and he supports you wholeheartedly. I love that. And so to transition a little bit into more nutrition, can you talk to us about how you and Greg have worked with your own products and with your supplement company that you guys have? It's Alpha and Omega. Is that correct? The Alpha and Omega
Yeah,
supplements?
so Alpha Omega is the parent company name, but it's biomediceuticals. And, we got into this because, my entire life I've been looking at finding ways to heal the body naturally. So there are supplements that you can use that are going to support your wellness journey, and also help to mitigate, certain disorders or disease states. So we wanted to make sure that we had a way to help support people in that journey. And I wanted to bring together products and also create products that were going to be supportive to all people. So, I really was excited when I met your father because in the bodybuilding space in particular, cardiovascular health is a major, major issue. And unfortunately, more and more of our athletes are dying from cardiovascular related health issues. So I wanted to bring the cardio miracle into that arena because that's not an area that you guys were already really situated in. So I saw a really big gap that needed to be filled in the athletic space, especially in the bodybuilding world. So I was like, okay, I can bring something like this so we can promote heart health, but also too, I can couple this with some of the other products that I'm bringing to market so that we can share that wellness journey with people and just make sure it's in the cleanest, safest, most efficacious way. So Cardio Miracle, along with, what I'm going after personally is I'm going after big sugar. And I'm trying to mitigate the damage that's coming along with insulin resistance, the metabolic and chronic illnesses that go along with that. So that's my big fight, keeping our athletes healthy, but also all people, but also mitigating the damage coming from sugar and artificial sweeteners.
Totally, and going with artificial sweeteners, I actually, when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis back in 2009, I was told about 6 weeks or 6 months after I was diagnosed that I was actually suffering from my symptoms were a result of me really overdoing artificial sweeteners. I was having what's called like an aspartame sucralose attack, that my body really couldn't handle or break down the artificial sweeteners, and it was really scary what was happening to my body. And so can you educate us a little bit on how those artificial sweeteners, foreign sweet, whatever they are, how our body really doesn't know what to do, how to break them down.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, it's such a big problem. It's so pervasive because really we have sugar and artificial sweeteners in everything that we're consuming. If you are consuming processed foods, there's added sugar or there's added artificial sweeteners in there. And, they all are going to impact your gut in a negative way. They're all going to impact your mitochondrial health in a negative way. So that right there is setting the stage for long-term dysfunction. So the artificial sweeteners in particular, I mean, they wreak havoc on your gut. They tear apart your gut lining. They're destroying the gut microbes and just really setting a bad balance there. So, avoiding them at all costs is definitely your best bet. I mean, you saw firsthand just how devastating, those things can be. I mean, that they bring on these major health problems. And I mean, for me personally, that story is so very personal because the whole reason why I got into the health space was because I was trying to find a way to save my aunt's life who had primary progressive multiple sclerosis. So my entire life, I've been looking for answers. And again, sometimes it's just the environmental toxins that you're dealing with. Sometimes it might be an injury from a shock or things like that, or it could be parasites or other things. So there's so many things and so many reasons why we all need to be aware and hyper vigilant when it comes to our health. But just knowing that, the science has been bought and paid for when they told us that these artificial sweeteners were safe for us, and that also that sugar was generally recognized as safe. So all these things, again, they're damaging your mitochondria, your gut. They actually shut down your immune system. I mean, within 45 minutes of consuming sugars, I mean, it's stronger than prednisone when it comes to stopping the function of your immune system. So, I mean, the damage is there.
Wow, it gets real deep, and so that's what I'm so grateful that John, I call my dad John, right? So when John introduced me to nitric oxide therapy in 2009, he was bringing me this other product that we were working with, and with this other company, and he advised me that in order to keep this gas, nitric oxide, um, totally fresh in your system all day, I was going to have to take a serving an hour, like one serving an hour every day. And this other product had some other sweeteners. It had xylitol in it, I believe, and which really loosened up, my stools and everything. And so a scoop an hour. I had to kind of stay close to the restroom so I didn't have any accidents. And but I was taking this other product all day, and that actually inspired him to create Cardio Miracle. And sorry, this is my pack that I just poured into my water bottle, but it create Cardio Miracle so that he could show that not only will nitric oxide be sustained in your system throughout the entire day, you won't have to take it every single hour of every single day. And so as we are transitioning into more of a MAHA movement, a Making America Healthy Again movement in the country, do you feel like not only the dyes are going to be taken care of by RFK, do you feel like he would attack something like this, the artificial sweeteners?
Oh yeah, I mean it's inevitable because I mean he's made it clear so many things. I don't know if you got to listen to him last night, but I was tuning in as I was still doing my work. But he's made it clear all these things that have been generally recognized as safe really need to be reevaluated, and he wants to take immediate action to knock out the biggest offenders. First and foremost, it's not that he doesn't want to go after the 10,000 plus chemicals that have been added to the generally recognized as safe list. He really wants to make an impact in a meaningful way. So I think you're going to see the high fructose corn syrups, the the 150 different names for sugar that you see on labels coming out of products. But I think what you're going to see is the consumers are already making it very clear that they are demanding that we put better products together for them. So I think that you're going to see, and it's not just about my company. It's like, I want to see an entire economy where we have businesses coming together, flooding the market space because they have something to present that's actually going to be beneficial to everybody's health. So I think you are going to see more companies putting things like our product into their ingredients list. And you're going to see other companies coming to the forefront because all those other brands are going to fall away if they don't get on board and really give us what we're asking for. The consumers have demanded that we get clean label ingredients and that we don't have artificials in everything. So I think you're going to see a major shift happening in the manufacturing space.
That would be music to my ears. It'd be so fantastic. The thing about it is with nitric oxide, with your sweetener that you're talking about, and the gut health. We know, some of us know how vitally important liver health is and whatnot. And so, can you educate us on how gut health and leaky gut contribute to your entire endocrine system, and how even your cardiovascular system works?
Yeah, I mean the gut. I mean, really, that is like the key to so many of our health markers. I mean, if something is going on within your gut, you can pretty much see it. So a lot of people see it like presenting on the surface of their skin because whatever's happening inside of your stomach, is typically going to manifest somewhere else in your body. So whether it is an inflammatory condition, which any of these skin eruptions, rosacea, psoriasis, eczema, all of these things, there's normally something going on within the gut wall lining, and there's normally a leak, which is causing this permeability. So you'll see stuff like that. Things when it comes to the liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is sadly on the rise, and it's our children who are presenting the most common now with it. And that's something that you would never see in children. Children never had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it's not because they're kicking back bottles of vodka and in bourbon. It's because they're taking in a ton of sugar because of all these ultra processed foods. So, there are ways that you can protect your gut microbiome, and there are ways that you can heal and repair a leaky gut. Obviously Cardio Miracle is instrumental in that because it's causing a healing response throughout your entire system. But also too, like if you look at other things like our sweetener, our Dalsa is designed to actually feed your gut and create an environment where your gut microbes are able to create more of their own beneficial bacteria, but also too implementing spore-based bacteria to actually help proliferate more good gut microbiome conditions there. So again, just getting rid of those things that are the most damaging offenders could really make a big difference and a big impact in people if they're trying to heal their gut. I mean, you've gotta stop the poisoning first. I mean, you can throw everything under the whole kitchen sink to fix a problem, but if you don't actually get to that leaking pipe underneath the sink and stop it, it doesn't matter what you're putting in there. So yeah,
Right.
first and foremost, identifying that problem and then stopping the assault, and then really supporting yourself with good things to heal it.
Absolutely. I absolutely love what you guys are doing, and it's such a pleasure to know that we have partners like you that are going out and representing. Maybe if we can shift it just a little bit to how you have, because I've seen you at a trade show, and you so effortlessly talk about all of this knowledge in such a layman's terms way where anyone can understand it. As you have partnered with us as a wholesaler, how have you found integrating Cardio Miracle into the lineup of what you guys are selling? How easy has that been for you? And
Oh,
Greg?
you guys fit perfectly. Again, like everything that you're doing is so much in alignment with what I'm doing. It's not difficult for me to communicate the message of Cardio Miracle along with our Dalsa, because again, we're trying to optimize people's health. And when you have a product like Cardio Miracle and you have a product like Dalsa, where everything is so readily available for background information on the individual ingredients that are contained within both of those products, it's a no-brainer. It's so easy to articulate. But I mean, when I'm talking to an audience of people who are literally doing things that are going to cause their hearts to explode, between the synthetic things that they're putting into their bodies, to the high stress, to the constant living in an elevated state with high cortisol, because there's all this judgment. There's so much pressure to be perfect and look a certain way and perform a certain way. It's just the lack of sleep, the overtraining, all of these things. It's really easy to articulate the healing response that you get from using things like Cardio Miracle and also Dalsa. I mean, it flows, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It's like, we're helping to minimize damage, and people feel it instantly. When I'm giving people samples of Cardio Miracle and they get to taste our Dalsa sweetener right next to it, and they're like, wow, I mean, I'm getting all of my nutrition right here. I'm actually lowering my blood glucose with that sweetener. It's like, that's so easy. It doesn't take convincing. It's like, here, taste this Cardio Miracle. Look at the science behind it. I always have the clinicals readily available. It doesn't hurt that normally when I'm out and about at an event, if I have my supplement company there, normally Dr. Judy Mikovits is in the audience somewhere. She normally finds her way over to our table, and she's normally like, everybody go see Natalie. Everybody, you need your Cardio Miracle. Get your Dalsa sweetener, because we got to take Big Sugar down. So it's not hard when you have all of these health champions surrounding us, normally at the same time, to help, get that messaging out there. So
I love it. I love the support. I mean, Dr. Judy, it's so fun to watch Dr. Judy on stage. Once I understand what she says, it doesn't all just go over my head like it used to. But now I love listening and kind of trying to digest her passion. And she, at this one event, we were doing a fundraiser with a church, and she stands up there with a bottle of Cardio Miracle, and she says, "If you're not drinking this, you're crazy," and everyone, people stand up there, "Amen, amen." It was like a rally, It's kinda
yeah,
cool.
so she
I
comes.
love that.
We were
So what shows do you guys plan on doing this year? Is it a busy year? Like, I know the past couple of years you guys have been like all over the country. Does it look like that this year for you?
Well, we didn't intend on it looking that way this year, because literally for 2 years, hardcore straight, every single week we were in a different state. So that's really a lot of travel. It's a lot of expenses. It's a lot of, bouncing around and air travel. And I don't like the way the air travel is going. So we're probably going to be getting an RV here soon. So much to my husband's dismay. But I don't see us traveling quite that much this year, because my focus is really getting the Dalsa off into the appropriate arenas. And what I've been doing a lot more lately is public speaking, and also podcasting with people such as yourself, and really helping to spread that message far and wide. Because as I said, I love the bodybuilding community. I truly do. I mean, I'm still contemplating if I'm going to compete this year, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I'm targeting people who are truly on the health mission, who want to optimize their health to the best possible way. And unfortunately, my brothers and sisters in bodybuilding don't always have that goal in mind. So I don't see us doing quite as many, but what I am doing is positioning us more so in things like the cancer care space, the holistic cancer care space, going to a lot more autism conferences, more metabolic health focused conferences. So I don't see us doing quite as many shows this year, but the ones that we are going to do are going to be truly impactful.
Absolutely. And as you're at these different shows and getting all this exposure, how do you feel like the response has been in general? I mean, everyone talks about diet, right? Everyone knows that they could do better. And do you feel like it's mostly a good response, or it's kind of like, are you getting resistance, or how has that been like for you?
Again, I don't think that anybody truly wants to be sick. I don't think that anybody truly wants to carry around excess weight on their body. But again, it's a personal struggle for people to make significant changes, and I want to continue to lend my support as much as possible. But there are people who are going to look at it and say, that's just not what I'm willing to do to take those extra steps, and that's okay. But I think more than not, you're seeing people who are truly seeking answers, who are looking for ways outside of their medical doctors now, because they finally have seen the light that the medical system is unfortunately broken and people have lost trust there. And it's a shame that it had to come to that, but it has come to that. And that's the only way we're going to get to true healing. So I think a lot of people are ready for this message now. And again, your father has been beating this drum for so long. So many people have. And I really think the voices have been heard, and I think that people are ready to make a change. And again, the more that we put pressure on these big industry, and these lobbyists and these scientists, these so-called scientists and nutritionists who are supposed to be working for our benefit, I'm ready to disrupt a big industry. And, I have a lot of people who are supporting me in that journey. So we're here.
You sure are. I love it. And it's when now I'm gonna talk about the question that comes up to me over and over and over is, do you do cardio before or after weightlifting?
Most people will probably be surprised by this. I don't really do cardio. If I'm in the middle of my prep, my coach might say, hey, I want you to do, an hour on the elliptical or an hour on the step mill, normally the step mill, or to run and stuff. After I had a significant health issue myself, I almost passed away from necrotizing pneumonia. So running is not a thing for me anymore. It never really was. I never really enjoyed running, but running is not an option for me anymore, where I do still have some scar tissue in my lungs. But my workouts are very intense. I mean, I'm moving weight, and I'm moving a good amount of weight. But I do a lot of supersets. So truly, my cardio comes into my bodybuilding time. So yeah, I don't like the fasted cardio. I don't like the 5 a.m. cardio anymore, or the 8 p.m. I don't do it anymore. So I stay lean and I do no cardio.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, when I was working out with you, I mean, I think I was doing like 25 reps or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to do cardio if I'm doing 25, 30 reps. And so I'm so sorry. Not that I want to, beat a dead horse, so to speak, but with that scare of the pneumonia where you went into the hospital, can you bring us through that a little bit? How were you able to recover from that?
So a few unconventional ways, but I ended up having, I believe I had some exposure to mold. Really my respiratory issues began when I moved to Ohio. And I think I had some mold exposure there, but also too, Ohio is known as like the mold valley. So I definitely took on some exposure there. The stress that I was under constantly, I mean, I was running a wellness center. I was working 7 days a week. I was servicing all of my clients every single day. I had on average about 70 appointments a day in my spa and clinic, in my spa and wellness center. So I was burning the candle at both ends. On top of that, I was, again, eating 6 times a day, training 2 times a day. After I would leave work at night, I'm back at the gym practicing my posing. So that constant rundown and burnout lend itself to the degradation of my health like that. So after being hospitalized multiple times and loaded up on every kind of antibiotic you could dream of, which I hated taking, but I was also really suffering big time. The final hospitalization, I lost the ability to talk. I couldn't really walk anymore. And I was coughing up sinkfuls of blood. And my husband had to carry me out of the house and into the hospital, where they had me in the advanced care unit for over a week. And, of course, they're in their bunny suits and everything like that. And here's my husband just sitting in the hospital room with me, no bunny suit, no oxygen, nothing like that. But, it took a long time. I lost about 25 pounds of weight in about 2 weeks. It was pretty severe. And they had me on every kind of drug you could dream of. And afterwards, it was a lot of, again, I had the cardio miracle on hand. I was nebulizing things like food grade hydrogen peroxide, using some things like silvers to help, kind of keep any, bacteria, virus at bay. And Dr. Edward Group has been amazing. I've been following him for years, and some of his very unconventional ways of healing literally, I would say, saved my life, because I was on nebulizers and rescue inhalers. I couldn't walk across a room without needing a rescue inhaler. And all of that is gone. I mean, I haven't touched an inhaler in a very long time, but there is still something there.
Sure. And I'm so sorry to hear all that. I didn't know it was that prolonged. And so I'm so glad to see you, that you're up and you're working and you're doing things, and you look like you're living a great life right now. So I'm so grateful that you're feeling better. And but I know that lingering's got to be just annoying more than anything. And so did you feel like, Greg almost had to like smuggle in some cardio miracle to you into the hospital, or were they able to just freely give it?
Yeah, unfortunately, like during that time of hospitalization, Greg didn't leave, so there was no leaving the house to get anything else. Like, he literally did not leave my side. And I was in there
Wow.
over a week in the advanced care unit before I got moved. So at that time, unfortunately, we didn't have the access to the cardio miracle. Of course, once I got out of the hospital, I was right back into my routine and taking it again. But yeah, he refused to leave my side because he wanted to keep a very watchful eye over them, because unfortunately, like I said, the trust has been broken with the medical community. And, when they have me on, a constant stream of morphine and Dilaudid and other medications that have me completely knocked, in outer space, he wasn't leaving my side for a second.
What a stud. Yeah. I mean, good for him. And that's kind of how I was. My fiance, she went in for like some issues. She was having this a hernia in her intestine, and so we had to go in and do some things in there. They're like, well, you can go if you want. We're going to do surgery for an hour and a half. And I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting right here in this chair. So it was, and they brought me in a pillow and whatever. So it was kind of crazy, but not a week, but you guys are amazing. You guys are like the pinnacle of like, a loving couple that support each other and that want to be with each other and like each other and love each other. And so thank you for that incredible example of what you and Greg have. It's amazing. So
Yeah, he's my best friend. Like, we literally do everything together. We work every event together. Every workout, when I was in the gym at 5 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 8 p.m., he was there with me every single step of the way, because he was like, listen, I don't have to do all that, but I'm never going to leave you to do it on your own. Now, of course, he's sitting in a massage chair while I'm busting my butt, but he was always present. He never left me alone. So
what a stud. What a stud. What a good guy. So can you tell us what you're excited about this, what in the future?
yeah.
What are you guys working on?
Yeah. So again, we're partnered up with, again, some of the most amazing health advocates, freedom warriors, freedom fighters. And like I said, my mission is to disrupt Big Sugar. And Big Sugar has a hold on us. They're destroying our kids' health. They're destroying our health. And I have decided to shift the narrative. So I have gone in with my husband, and we created a sweetener to displace sugar. And what we're doing though is we're not taking like a traditional spin on sweetening your coffee or your tea with something that just tastes like sugar. We've actually created a health supplement that is it's like a sugar replacement. So, we have several health beneficials wrapped into this sweetener where we're not going to damage your mitochondria. In fact, we're going to help your mitochondria perform better. You're going to help your cellular energy to be enhanced. We're working on detoxifying on a cellular level, but also pulling heavy metals and chemicals out of your system. To my knowledge, I don't think, stevia that's laced with, maltodextrin or dextrose, when we see some of these brands out there that are calling themselves natural sweeteners, none of those things are doing that for you. We're looking at the gut microbiome. So we're helping to support you with prebiotics and probiotics because the gut, again, is so very important for your overall health and well-being. We're trying to help you with managing your blood glucose, but also your insulin. So it's really, something special when you have a sweetener that will literally lower postprandial blood glucose levels. And that's actually a patented anti-glycation agent. So, we have a sweetener that's also anti-aging in essence. And then on top of that, it's going to increase protein and nutrient absorption. So think about the implications with that. Here you have, excuse me, a system where they use sugar and high fructose corn syrups and chemicals that are just constantly barraging your immune system, destroying your liver, destroying your metabolic health, versus a sweetener that's literally amplifying all of those areas of wellness. So, to my knowledge, it's the first of its kind. It's a botanical functional sweetener. And when we have warriors like Dr. Judy Mikovits, Tom Renz, Ann Vandersteel, we have also one of the world's leading neuroscientists in our court who's saying, we're going to do brain studies on this to show the effects because they do brain mapping and they work with people who are on the spectrum. They work with cancer patients. They're working with people that have, post-traumatic stress syndrome, like, your combat vet study. We actually have him using the Cardio Miracle in conjunction with his hyperbaric oxygen chambers and his peptide therapy and his brain mapping. So, these are the type of people that we're partnering up with. So it's this perfect blend of, we have the top doctors in the world who are pulling people out of comatose states. And they're using Cardio Miracle, but then they're also saying, hey, let's put some Dalsa into this also so we can amplify all the health benefits of it. So, we're going hard after big sugar. But again, it's not just a thing about creating this war in this battlefield. It's about creating that other marketplace where we can say, you know what, we don't want to walk in your system anymore. We want to do business with companies like Cardio. We want to do businesses with companies like Dalsa Life. And we want to, support those that are bringing health and wellness to us. We don't want to have to keep on fighting and begging you guys to change your products for us. We're just going to find better products, period. So that's the walk that we're doing, and we're having great success with it. And again, I'm so proud to be partnered up with Cardio Miracle because I believe wholeheartedly in everything that you guys are doing. And when I look at the sensitive populations that you guys are walking into so boldly and so bravely, the African American community has benefited greatly by John's, initiatives to really expose them and educate them how important it is that they utilize nitric oxide for healing. And again, those are the type of environments that I want to be walking in alongside with you guys to show them, hey, this other beast over here, this sugar monster over here is really your downfall. So let's find ways to elevate all communities, but especially those ones who are being targeted with, the most poisonous foods available to them because they are being suppressed. So yeah, I'm so excited again, just to have Judy again. I love listening to her talk about science and cells and botanicals. And she's so passionate. She's like, you truly have something that is a botanical and you're protected against by the FDA. Like they can't walk in your arena. So it's really exciting what's going on right now.
Amazing. Amazing. And I've tried your sweetener. It's amazing. It really is. It's one of the it's the best sweetener I've ever had. And when people are talking about, you know, these 0 calories, xylitol, erythritol, whatever, like it's you know, there is always like this aftertaste that kind of gets you. But with your sweetener, I tried it and I was like, this is an amazing product. And so, thank you so much for educating us on that. And that was actually going to be one of my questions: is if it is kind of like a probiotic where it's going to help that gut health and whatnot. And you went into that, so I appreciate that so much. And so,
Yeah.
if there's anything else you wanted to leave us with, I think we're going to wrap up. But if you want to just give a little statement or give a testimonial on Cardio Miracle or on the Dalsa, I mean, whatever you'd like to finish with, we can wrap it up.
Sure. Well, like I said, I've already had my Cardio Miracle for the day, but much like you with your little pack of Cardio Miracle nearby at all times, my Dalsa. So again, I have my Cardio Miracle in the morning. I put a scoop of Dalsa into it. And again, Cardio Miracle tastes great, but if you want it to taste like fruit punch without adding any sugar, without sugar alcohols, without any harm or damage, try putting some of the Dalsa in it. I swear you'll go back for a second glass of Cardio Miracle almost immediately. So it marries all the flavors, but really makes everything pop. So again, I'm so grateful for what you guys are doing. I'm grateful that, people are finally at this point where they're really ready to change the landscape. And I'm going to continue to walk this walk. And, I hope that people will join us in this mission, because we want all hands on deck. You guys have created this beautiful community where people are folding into you and they're bringing this forward. And I really hope that people will join us in this mission to end, the damage from big sugar and try something that's actually going to help and heal your body versus, break it down.
Fabulous. Where can people find some Dalsa?
Yeah, sure. So our website is Dalsa, Dulsa, life, life.com. And you can find us currently on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Dalsa Life. So, yeah, we're just, like I said, super excited. Really big things coming on the horizon. Don't be surprised when you see little, instead of sugar sachets of Truvia and, Splenda and Equal and Sweet and Low, you're going to see some Dalsa packets, because we're making our way into the hospitality and to the coffee shops and soon the markets.
Heck yeah. I love it. Thank you so much for your time today, Natalie. We appreciate you so much. And I hope that nothing but health and wellness going forward. And please say hi to Greg for me. Give him a big hug.
Will do. Thank you so much, Josh. Be well.
All right.